Jesus. Jesus has already told us. You cannot see infinity. Why can't you see infinity? Because we're in it. Can you see the Atlantic Ocean? Well, yeah, but can you see all of the Atlantic Ocean? Of course not. We are limited creatures. But God, who created all of these things, must be bigger than they are. God is infinite. So if God gives us the names of people in the New Testament, and if God doesn't give us a name, there must be a reason. And you and I can spend an awful lot of time thinking of each person whose name we don't have, and why it might be that God didn't give us that name. And then every time we hear the gospel at Mass, every time you hear it, you hear somebody, what's that person saying? Oh, we didn't have, I wonder why God. And we then predispose ourselves to have this aha experience. And we have a different reason every time. Now, this priest said, hey, there must be a reason that God did not tell us the name of so many people. And so he picked out, what was it, 17 names, I think it was. He didn't have the names of those people. And we know that there are many others. He picked those 17, because they were the ones that stood out in his mind. There's one program which talks about Aramaic, ipsissima verba. Ipsissima verba. We were talking a little while ago, Lee and I were talking about a book which is on the shelf here, which I find absolutely disgusting. It's a Bible study book about Bibles. Early in it, it talks about when Jesus was born, brand new baby. What did Mary do? She did what?
She moved.
She had this little baby. What did she do with this little baby?
She wrapped him in swaddling clothes.
Wrapped him in swaddling clothes. This book says, wrapped him in torn rags. That's what the book says. It says Mary wrapped Jesus in torn rags. I objected to that. I said, no. Swaddling clothes. Swaddling is a 13th century word. Every time I read it, I think of the whole history of the King James Version. It was a perfectly good word prior to the 13th century, which we still have and use. And what does it mean? It means strips of cloth used to wrap precious brand new babies in. Not torn rags. Our mother is accused of wrapping Jesus in torn rags. We throw some things away. We pay no attention. So every time I hear swaddling, you see, I have a whole story that goes with it, and it even lengthens it. That's how we build aha into our prayer life, into our listening to Scripture, into our reading